recording. I forgot about the recording. About immersive audio, I'm mixing sports sound now for many, many years, and we put so much effort into sports sound, but still what is going wrong, I think it's not actually an English problem, because you have lip mics, yeah? You have this wonderful old-fashioned lip mics, and balancing commentary to international sound is quite easy in the UK, but it's the only country I know using all over the place lip mics. All the rest are using headphones. Jonas will mention this again as well. And yeah, the problem is to get it right. There's so much criticism from social media about the commentary ES ratio with whatever, perhaps even deaf people or older people, young people, all different flavors, all different comments the Skies, the ZDFs are getting. And everybody's coming from different backgrounds. And then I try to give one of my students the job, figure it out. How do people actually want to listen to commentary international sound? What's the average mixing ratio? And then this year, Jonas wrote a very little but very helpful software to measure it. It's your time, Jonas.
Thank you for your introduction, Felix. Yeah, I'm happy to welcome you all. As Felix said, it was the topic of my bachelor's thesis, uncovering the secret of objective commentary to international sound ratio balancing. And within this bachelor thesis, I did develop a small repo plugin. But to just jump into the problem, I've got two listening examples. Normally, of course, we would hear them, it's a German football game, and normally we would hear it in 5.1. But unfortunately, we only got mono here, but I think you will get a problem as well. Oh, didn't work. Felix, maybe you can just click on the listening example, yes.
Vom Gefühl her muss es Borussia Dortmund gelingen, die Partie hier von vorne weg zu spielen. Und die Gladbacher, für die es ja nicht mal mehr um die goldene Ananas geht, rauszuhalten. Lässt man sie rein, so wie beispielsweise gestern gesehen bei Hertha gegen Köln, wo es ja für die Kölner vermeintlich um nichts mehr ging, dann kann dieses Spiel auch schon mal eine eigene, besondere Dynamik entwickeln. Alle, abgeblockt, Ball, Tor, von vorne wegspielen. Neuhaus kommt langsam wieder runter.
Ja, viel zu kämpfen gehabt, Verletzungen, dann kein Stammspieler zwischen Bank und Einsätze. Ja, arbeitet im Kopf, aber hier die Rettungsaktion von Emre Can, ganz wichtig gewesen. Links wieder einer frei gewesen, ich glaube es war Wolf, hätte dann freien Lauf zum Tor gehabt. Emre Can mit dem Kopf gerettet, aber vorher schon Freistoß für die Gladbacher. Aber Schiedsrichter hat erstmal den Vorteil abgehalten.
Well, this is how it mostly sounds in German television. Now I've got the second listening example.
Vom Gefühl her muss es Borussia Dortmund gelingen, die Partie hier von vorne weg zu spielen. Und die Gladbacher, für die es ja nicht mal mehr um die goldene Ananas geht, rauszuhalten. Lässt man sie rein, so wie beispielsweise gestern gesehen bei Hertha gegen Köln, wo es ja für die Kölner vermeintlich um nichts mehr ging, dann kann dieses Spiel auch schon mal eine eigene, besondere Dynamik entwickeln. Alle, abgeblockt, Ball, Tor, von vorne wegspielen. Neuhaus kommt langsam wieder, Lothar.
Ja, viel zu kämpfen gehabt, Verletzungen, dann kein Stammspieler zwischen Bank und Einsätze. Ja, arbeitet im Kopf, aber hier die Rettungsaktion von Emre Can, ganz wichtig gewesen. Wäre links wieder einer frei gewesen, ich glaube es war Wolf, hätte dann freien Lauf zum Tor gehabt. Emre Can mit dem Kopf gerettet, aber vorher schon Freistoß für die Gladbacher. Aber Schiedsrichter hat erstmal den Vorteil abgewartet.
This is how it could sound. So, although it was German, maybe you could get a problem. The problem is there is no consistency in the intelligibility of the commentary throughout the game and throughout each game. Or on the other side, there's a missing immersion of the crowd ambience because the commentary is too loud. But there is put so much effort in each game. In Germany, for example, each weekend there are many games in the Bundesliga, or another example, the FIFA World Cup 2022. Each stadium had about 40 cameras, 50 microphones, and there was a very impressive mix created with a great immersion from the ambient sound. But why the effort if we can only hear one microphone most of the time, which is the commentary microphone? So what's the cause of this inconsistency? Most times we've got just a subjective impression and mixing decision of each audio engineer, of each sound supervisor, each game. Because we have a different engineer each game, there is a different subjective impression each game. And with this also there come some other smaller problems, such as distraction, because in an OB van, as you may know, it's not quiet. There are many people talking, sometimes people shouting, there are many speakers, and also it depends on your personal feeling. Are you tired? Is it maybe not your first game these days, the third game? Are your ears tired? Are you maybe a bit sick, but still at work? And of course, third problem comes with the attention. You do not only mix the game, but you only have some other problems, such as the intercom system, for example. If there's a problem, you have to fix it and you have to pay attention to that problem, and you cannot pay attention to the mix. So overall, it's just a big subjective decision with every crew member. And now is the question, how could we solve that problem? Well, our new approach was, as we knew from other things, from other parameters such as LUFS, LRA, we need an objective measurement and an objective parameter. And we thought we have to go from the subjective decision each game to an objective decision each game. And how did we want to do that? Well, we started out with a definition of an objective parameter, which is the COM-IS ratio. It shows the relation between the commentary and the international sound in the mix, and is shown in loudness units. Next step was, in my bachelor's degree, the development of the measurement plugin in Reaper, and just going to jump in and look at it. We will just rewatch the listening examples from the past, and now we've got the plugin, and just rewatch, we listen and pay attention maybe to this bar graph here on that side. Now.
No, it is a. Do you want to maybe reset the VLC?
Yeah, maybe has to change. Although we tried it before.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
We'll close VLC maybe?
Yeah, maybe close the VLC player.
Kölner vermeintlich um nichts mehr ging, dann kann dieses Spiel auch schon mal eine eigene, besondere Dynamik entwickeln. Aller, abgeblockt, Ball, Tor, von vorne wegspielen. Vom Gefühl her muss es Borussia Dortmund gelingen, die Partie hier von vorne weg zu spielen. Die Gladbacher, für die es ja nicht mal mehr um die goldene Ananas geht, rauszuhalten. Neuhaus kommt langsam wieder, Lothar.
Ja, viel zu kämpfen gehabt, Verletzungen, dann kein Stammspieler zwischen Bank und Einsätze. Ja, arbeitet im Kopf, aber hier die Rettungsaktion von Emre Can, ganz wichtig gewesen. Wäre links wieder einer frei gewesen, ich glaube es war Wolf, hätte dann freien Lauf zum Tor gehabt. Emre Can mit dem Kopf gerettet, aber vorher schon Freistoß für die Gladbacher. Aber Schiedsrichter hat erstmal den Vorteil abgewartet.
So as you saw, I just jumped through some mixing examples we had from the beginning, and what we now do have is not just a subjective impression from the beginning, but a number for that impression. So we can say, I like the mixing settings where the comma-s ratio were about +6 LU, and now I can do that every game with this mixing decision. Another thing we just experienced now, I put down the volume, and we still can mix the game, although we don't listen to it, because we see the bar graph is green. We have about my personal +6 LU with the loudness, with the comma-s ratio, and I totally can mix without listening, which we come back to the problem with, for example, the fixing the intercom problem. I do not have to mute my speakers or my headphones, but I do not have to pay attention to the mix, but can pay attention to the problem I'm just fixing. For example, a quick introduction to the layout of the plugin. So as we can see, it's a classic Reaper plugin. This one here, we've got on the left side a normal peak measurement with 5.1. On the right side, we got a loudness measurement with momentary, short-term loudness range and integration, which we can start here. And in the middle, we got the most important section, which is the COM-IS section. On the left side, we got the commentary loudness measurement, which is measured in short-term loudness. On the right side, we got the international sound measurement, also in short-term. And in the middle, we got our bar graph, which shows the COM-IS ratio, also in loudness units. It shows 3 parameters. At the top, it shows our loudness units we've got. It also shows, of course, the bar graph as itself, and it shows a color, which changes if the ratio becomes good or bad. So if it's good, of course, green. If it becomes worse, it's getting red. We can set those settings in the in settings, where I can set my target ratio, a maximum tolerance, a minimum tolerance, and some other parameters. So I can set my personal preference in here. At the bottom, we also have a correlation metering with front and surround correlation, which becomes important in the next slide. I'm just going to show you, because I want to change and show you some details and research. As Felix mentioned, there already was another bachelor's degree on that topic. A friend of mine from the University of Darmstadt, Henrik Eskens, did that about 2 years ago, and also did a listening test in that bachelor's degree. And he defined the objective measurement, the objective parameter, the COM-IS ratio. As I said, it defines the relation between commentary and international sound, and is measured in LU or dB, as you like. And if we got a ratio from about 2 to 1, of course the commentary has to be +6 dB or 6 LU. Another parameter he defined in his bachelor's degree was the COM-SPIL range. It's similar to a signal-to-noise ratio, but just for the commentary channel. And in that case, the commentary channel is the needed signal, and the noise channel is the bleed, or the spill from the stadium, from the crowd, which also is picked up by the microphone. As Felix mentioned, in all other countries, but the Great Britain countries, we do have headsets which just pick up the spill more and more. And last but not least, a parameter we already know, the correlation of the international sound. It's on this slide because in the listening test, Henrik found some interesting things out. So, as you can see on the picture, we've got the findings from the listening test. Most people preferred a ratio of about 0 dB. Of course, you can see some variance from top to the bottom. The variance also depends on groups. So, for example, younger people, older people, sports fans, not sports fans, preferred a different level. So, sports fans mostly wanted less commentary, for example. also he found out that the COM-SPIL range and the correlation have a direct impact on the COM-IS ratio. So the greater the COM-SPIL range is, so more difference between commentary and noise signal, the less the COM-IS ratio can be with the same intelligibility. Also, the more decorrelated the international sound is, the less we have to mix commentary to the international sound. So also the COM-IS ratio can be lower, but with the same intelligibility. Still some pictures from the listening test, and of course there are some other researchers about the topic speech versus music or ambience. For example, German Elisabeth Hildebrand did a diploma thesis about it. In Germany, the last year, they introduced a new audio channel in German public television, which is called the Clear Speech, which is especially for hearing impaired people. As Robert mentioned, some people want more drama, less music, less ambience, and this was introduced by German public television. Also for the intelligibility in the television. And some other papers and researches are already available, for example, on ducking levels or on voice-over-voice levels. But our problem was they were not focusing only on the football and commentary thing, so they were a good base, but not that relevant at the end. So back to the plugin. In the bachelor thesis, I did an evaluation with 3 German television audio engineers, who tested the plugin in as much as possible live environment and gave feedback. At first they complimented that they now have a objective number and not just the subjective impression. And all mentioned it was opening their eyes to a new thing. And I was very happy that it worked so well for them, and because although it's just such a little thing. The other part, which for example Henrik mentioned in his tests, is I'm able to mix without listening. So what does it mean? As I just showed, I can pay attention to other things such as the intercom problems and don't have to pay attention to the mix at the moment, but still can mix the perfect ratio. Also, I tested some other plugins. For example, the Isotope Inside 2. They are already available at the market, and I thought maybe they fit for this problem. So I tested them in my bachelor's degree, but it was just a subjective test for myself. I tested this plugin, the Isotope plugin, and I also tested the intelligibility meter from the which is integrated in the Nuendo 11 DAW. And my subjective impression was that the Isotope plugin showed a overall too positive intelligibility, and the Nuendo meter showed exactly the same thing. So when my personal opinion was I couldn't really understand the commentary, the Isotope plugin still showed a good intelligibility, and with the Nuendo meter exactly the same thing, or it didn't even recognize the speech. So yeah, my opinion was they don't really work for this problem, they don't fit. And what are the next steps with the plugin? So we need to integrate a dialogue separation, a dialogue gating, because at the moment we just measure the commentary channel, which means we also measure the spill. I measured the COM-SPIL range, it is very important, so we need a dialogue gating that the measurement becomes more precisely. And next steps, of course, are field tests. We have to get it into B-bands, TV stations, just to improve the plugin more and more, and yeah, listen to the users, what their needs are. And with that comes the definition of network-specific parameters. So we don't define the parameters. This has to be done by stations, for example, such as the German public television, because they have to say we want the consistency in the mix. We want this parameter, we want this COM-IS ratio with this tolerance and this tolerance, So our mix is the same every game. And I hope I got you into the problem and also to our new approach, how we could solve that. And especially I hope you also got the findings from the listening tests and user tests, and want to give Felix the last sentence.
Yes, thank you very much, Jonas. Very nice presentation. Yeah, you see, I think especially with Dolby Atmos, I always told also the Dolby guys, it won't be successful in live. I mean, in film it's easy, in music it's easy when everything is recorded separate, when you have clean sounds. Our biggest problem is we don't have clean sounds in live production, especially the commentary spills so much quite often that all the effort in producing music, also the Olympic ceremony, the opening ceremony. I heard this, Rob, I'm pretty sure he was doing a beautiful sound, but in Germany, ARD, I couldn't hear it. I only could hear the ugly spilled sound through the commentary mic. That might help us now to have a better objective perspective on this. And next step, as Jonas mentioned, ideally, we put this in place in all mixing consoles. Yeah, ColorRec, Lavo, SSL. RTW, they know this already, and we find specification. My next step will be to discuss with Sky Germany to find their specific sports sound, their network sound, and I'm pretty sure for ARD it might be different. It might be even different from a live coverage of a football match to the highlight show late in the night for their news show, where they have something like nowadays 10 dB of com-IS ratio. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Questions? No questions, right?
Does anyone have a question? Yeah.
Martin.
So I love this.
Peter, yeah.
It was excellent. No, that really loved it. It's made me feel great because I think the UK, we use a lot of lip mics. It makes me feel really very proud of the UK and that we're ahead of the game. But is it patented and is it commercially available?
It is. It's based on a Reaper integrated plugin, so it's not commercial, but it's available if you want to test it.
Yeah.
Just contact me or for questions after that. Just.
I made it wrong again, Pete. When I brought up this idea a couple of years ago already, I had this in mind, and I can't write code, unfortunately. I didn't write a patent. I should have done this, but still, I think you can make a lot of money out of this. It's not patented, and it's actually a free plugin. We will distribute it after a while, of course. First, we do the inside test, and then we distribute it.
But it's available.
You can write it by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. That's good. Thanks.
Sold. Any other questions? We've got time for one more. No? Okay, great. Thank you very much.